Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Smith, aka the Tallest Man Comedy. I'm here with my co host, Kerri Bemis, for
Hi.
one last question. And
AKA Paparazzi Holly.
that's right. And we had scheduled a guest. I don't know if he's going to make it or not, but we're just going to start talking and see where it goes and see what happens.
Uh-huh.
How was your day today, Kerri? Did you have a good day?
You know what? Today was very hot. It wasn't a bad day. It was busy, but it was hot today. It's kind of rough because where I work, I don't know if it's a warehouse. I don't know if you would call it that, but it's definitely warm in there where the outside is like cooler.
Yeah.
So, I was very tired. The heat like really makes me quite lethargic and things like that. So hopefully the microphone, I have a new mic, so hopefully it's picking up and sounds a little better.
Yeah.
How was
I,
your day, hon?
I think your mic sounds great. Yeah. Also, I do work in a warehouse, and it does get hot in there because there's no temperature controls in a warehouse. It's just either cold or hot. Um, there's like fans when it's hot, and there's like some heaters when it's cold, but it still doesn't mitigate the temperature that much because of the vastness of the area you're working in. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it was really busy today. And it's Monday, it's like your first day back, and it's really busy, and there's like a bunch of stuff to do. So
It was a long holiday as well.
yeah, so
You know
it's
what I mean? Well, at least
yeah,
mine was. But yeah, totally like I know it's just like totally like blue collar like problems, but like
yeah,
I have to wear like gloves and stuff where I work, and sometimes I can't get the gloves on because my hands are like too sweaty, which is so gross. That's so
mm,
gross. I find that so disgusting. So I have to like go buy a fan and I put them with the fan. I have to air them out, air my hands out. It's so gross. I took like gloves off today and you could actually see the sweat like when you pull them off. It was so nasty. I can't, and my hands were like pruny. It was so gross. And my gloves are black that I have to wear, so it'll actually stain my fingernails. It grossed me out so bad.
yeah,
But yeah, it was freaking hot. That's how hot it was. But it
yeah.
was a long weekend for me. I had Thursday, Friday, and Friday off, and then of course you have the weekend. So um, it's a little tough getting back when you go on Monday the next day after like having like 4 days off. That's like pretty cool. That's
I
like almost like
know.
it's almost like having a vacation, right?
Right, you get
So
those days off, and you
yeah,
see like what your life could be if you didn't have to go to some place just to make money for like a place to live in and food in your fridge. You
yeah.
see like, wow, that's I spent so much time there. Like the time that I just got from not going there, I was able to do a bunch of stuff that made me happy. Like it's kind of wild.
Yeah, and you know what? I told you today I had an anxiety, right? Because
Yeah.
I have anxiety problems, and today it was rough. Like I woke up and I could feel it, and I thought like part of it is because I had spent more time at home than usual, right? And
Right.
more like playtime and free time. So then I had to go back to work, and it's not like my work is crazy stressful. It's really not, but it was just the fact that it was
Oh, hold
different.
on. John's here.
Oh,
Hey, John, how you
hey,
doing?
baby.
How's it going? How y'all doing?
We're
Good.
doing great. You sound really good.
I'm doing pretty good. Y'all sound pretty good too.
Well,
All right,
good.
hey, appreciate that.
Thanks for hopping in. We appreciate you, man. How's it going?
Yeah, we were
Going
talking
pretty good.
about it's Monday, first day back to work after like a holiday and the weekend, and
Yeah.
like up here in Cleveland is like hot, and we were sweating, being blue collar. Um, how was your weekend? How was your holiday?
Well, it is. I live in Texas. It is hot down here, but for me, it's a little backwards because like I'm a DJ, so my work week begins on a like almost a Wednesday or Thursday, and Mondays are my day off. So regardless
Okay.
of the holiday, regardless if it's a holiday, Mondays are my day off.
So do you do like weddings, bar mitzvahs, like parties, like as a DJ?
Well,
That's
like
like your
pre-COVID, it was only private events, and then COVID put a little damper in my business, so I had to go back to the nightlife industry to keep the lights on and stuff.
okay.
Maybe we can start from the beginning, right? Blue Label Johnny, right?
That is I.
That's what you go by. All right, so let's start. Let's start with. All right, I knew you. We went to a school together, a Catholic school together, in Lufkin, Texas, right?
St. Patrick's Elementary.
Right. So I don't recall when you started there. I started there. I think I was in kindergarten. I don't know. I don't recall when you started.
I did too. I was there the whole time till 6th grade.
See? I thought so. Okay, so we spent all those years together. So that's how I know you. Of course, we don't know each other now. We haven't talked to each other or even thought of each
No,
other
like a
since
lot of
we were
people I went
10
to
or
high
11
school.
years old. I'm sorry.
Right.
This is the word. Say it again.
I like a lot of like I grew up with a lot of the people we went to St. Patrick's with through school, but even though now I am kind of, I'm kind of removed from a lot of them. I haven't spoken to a lot of those people.
Okay, so that's cool. Okay, so you know what? Because I moved away. Sixth grade, my family moved to Ohio. So I'm in a place called Bedford, Ohio. And now I probably should get my location. I don't care. And it's maybe about 20 minutes roughly from Cleveland, right?
You're
So I've
giving
been here.
you're giving the terrorists everything they need to know, Kerri.
I
You
know.
want to give them the street address too? Come on.
I know, right? So yeah, we moved away. So I think that's really cool that you still went to high school. That was one of my questions too. But we'll get into that in a
Lufkin,
second.
Texas, born and raised all the way to high school. I even went to Stephen F. Austin while I lived there for a little bit, but even still lived in Lufkin till I moved to the DFW a couple years later. So
Okay. So are they still called what was it? The high school, was it the Panthers, the Lufkin Panthers?
Lufkin Panthers, yep.
Mm-hmm. So in Texas, Jason, because you've been in Ohio your whole life, like
Full life.
my sister and my brother went to the high school, the junior high, right? And for like homecomings and like big, like football's a big deal, man, in Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were called mums. So all the girls, like, did they still do that? Did they still do that? Stop.
Oh, but like, we're in the DIY era now. So like, everybody can make their own mums. You don't just got to go to the store and do it. So like mums is crazy business down here.
Huge. I remember every year my sister went to school, her mom got bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Like the bigger your mom. And it was like this weird thing, Jason, that like it looked like it was a ribbon, but it looked like a big flower and it had a bunch of ribbon bells and shit hanging off of it. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Growing up in East Texas, I never questioned it. But then like when I saw I have sons, but that like one of my sons has sisters. And so I saw them have it. And I was just like, I was able to look at it from like, without being indoctrinated into that culture. And I was like,
yeah,
why
weird?
That is exactly how every child feels when they go
so
over
weird.
to someone else's house and they don't understand that their parents are messed up individuals. And then they go to another household and see their friends' parents, and those parents also are weirdos because everyone's a little bit of a weirdo. And then the kid is like acting like, what? Yeah, mom is shaving dad's back. What's the big deal? Like, they don't get that their parents are weird. And then they go, wait a second, are my parents weird too? And then inevitably they go, yeah, they are. They're really weird. These are
most definitely.
It's true. And it's
normal
true.
is a very sliding scale. It's very like easy to say this is normal, but that discludes like 90% of the population. So it's very relative.
Yeah, it's weird. I remember having a boyfriend and, oh my God, my family, I love my family, but I always make a joke because we're like half Italian. So we have to compensate because we're not full Italian. That's my big joke, right? So we used to do this thing where it's so weird. But in my head, I was like, what's weird about this? Until I had a boyfriend that came over and was like, what? So when we would eat dinner, we had a towel. It was one towel. We didn't have napkins. We passed the towel around. So if you had to wipe your mouth, you used the same towel. It was just a freaking towel that we passed around. And so for me, I was like,
Even the
what?
guests.
Yes. I didn't realize. Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
are
I
you
didn't
one of us or
realize.
not? Are you going to take the towel, or are you going to be an uppity bitch and make a big
I was like,
scene?
Exactly.
can I get my own towel?
Right.
And it was peer pressure because they knew it. Like if they didn't, it's kind of like, whoa, like because my
Oh,
family is a
so
little more
yeah,
boisterous,
now we're
right?
the weirdos, right? Yeah.
That's so weird. I always thought that was normal until I had that boyfriend. He's like, that's weird.
Right,
That's
right.
weird. I'm like, it is? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh. And then you think about it, and I think, that's right. I've gone to friends' houses. They've never done that. I've never seen them pass one freaking time. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I love it. So, John, where are you living now?
I'm in Dallas now. So I've been living in Dallas since I moved away from East Texas.
Moving up,
Oh,
baby.
oh, big city.
Yup.
Yeah. East Tech the I loved my childhood and like that youth, like in East Texas, but there's no way I could have been an adult in East Texas. Like it's just wasn't expansive for me. Not enough different ideas, not enough different people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah,
and I love it. I love the country and all that, but nah, I need the big city. I need the
well,
city life.
Yeah.
that's a good point. You are a product of your environment, whether you wish to be or not. And I
Yeah.
think that like there's a reason, like, yes, colleges are there to educate people, but they're also there to bring smart people together, and then they kind of like bounce off each
Right. I
other
mean,
and
like,
come up with even better ideas. And I think when there's a like a hub of like a big population of people like New York City or like LA, I think that having grouping together people that are exceptional is going to result in some, there's going to be bad things, but there's also going to be some exceptional things that come out of it.
right. I mean, like, I would say that my childhood was very much, very 80s, 90s sitcom-esque, but even with that, I still had very, these homogenized ideas about gay people and sexuality and different things. And like that these
Oh,
ideas
yeah.
came from not even talking to people who identify these things. They were just, these small town,
Yeah, this is
prejudices
the
that
norm.
you just accept because you just think that's just regular. You don't think you're being a bad person or blah blah blah.
Nope.
And then you go out
Nope.
in the world and you meet every spectrum, every flavor, every genre of person, and you realize that this paintbrush that you were painting people in is not, the colors aren't wide enough to cover the spectrum.
No.
Like you've been coloring inside the lines when life doesn't do that.
I
Yeah.
know, and I'm sorry, you said you had children. Jason and I also, we have three boys, and so they're like what 2.5 years apart, right? But even those little generations, like it's wild. Like I would tell the kids, I'm like, when I was growing up, like when I got into let's say 90s, right? I'm 17. It was like, yeah, man, you can be gay, but don't you dare say you're gay. Don't you do it. Don't come out. I'm cool with it if you keep it behind closed doors. And so for them, they're like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like it's wild, man. Which is cool because like, look, I never wanted to look. My parents they said some stuff and acted a certain way. I never wanted to be like that, right? So I totally get it. And there's times where like our youngest, he doesn't get it. Like, what do you like? What do you mean you
Well,
don't understand it?
Harry
But I
got
remember feeling that way about my mom, man. I remember thinking like, oh my God, you don't
Harry
get
got
it.
really upset when our youngest son Xavier, they gave him a sheet.
I did.
What are your pronouns?
I
And
don't
he was
I
like
didn't
circled like him because he's a boy. He identifies as a boy.
right.
And but
I
Carrie's
didn't
like,
get it.
what the hell is going on with this school? Like,
Yeah,
what are they
what?
doing? Why would they do that? And I'm like, well, because they feel they have to not discriminate.
Hmm.
And like me and Carrie have talked many times, like I everyone in America, everyone has the freedom to think what they think. There is no crime in thinking anything. However, they're I don't, and I said this when we were talking to her cousin, like I don't get the transsexual thing. I can't wrap my mind around it, and it's probably maybe my parents had the same thing with people being homosexual,
Doesn't
where
mean
like,
that's wrong. We just don't get it. That's
yeah,
the
like
point.
I don't hate on anybody. You
Right.
live your life, you be happy, you be fulfilled, and I'm the last person on the planet to like insult people or go picket or like any of that nonsense. I feel that
Right.
it's very like ridiculous. But at the same time, if I'm being honest, and I am, I don't get that. Like I get homosexuality 100%. Like that doesn't seem that weird to me. Like it's not me, but I don't. Okay, if that makes you happy, go do it. And with the transsexuality thing, it's like if that makes you happy, go do it. But man, I don't get that. Like I don't understand it at all.
That's the
Now,
point. Could you imagine? I'm sorry. Could you imagine
Go
if this
ahead,
stuff
Kerri.
happened with our parents? They would have like, oh, it would have blown their minds. And I think that's the point what we're talking about. We're not saying it's wrong.
It's
We
just
just don't understand.
we
Just like
don't get it.
when my parents were going, "What do you mean you're gay?" And I'm going, "What do you mean they're gay?" Right? It's the same thing. It's like it's a
Yeah.
really. You see what I'm saying? Like our kids are going, "What's the big deal?" And I'm going, "What do you mean? What's the big deal?" It was
Right.
the same shit with my parents. It's I don't know. I think I like that. I actually think it's very endearing. I think it's just how you grow, man. I really do.
Yeah.
That's how the kids are better than the parents,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Go ahead.
ideally, I think that's what you want. Is you want each iteration to
Yep.
be better than the other. Like me, like I totally get not understanding it, but what I can empathize with anybody is that like I can only imagine how I would feel if somebody was telling me who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't know who you
You.
are. I don't
I
get to
do.
tell you that, right? The only thing
Yeah.
I have in control is like just don't try to monitor my speech or my thoughts. Like I will never try to
Right.
tell anybody that they're not whoever they think they are or whatever they identify as.
Right.
You do have to give me some grace that like I don't necessarily speak how you want. Like you have to give me some grace that whatever vocabulary you may be wanting, I may not have. So you have to have some
Right.
grace for me. Like don't if
Right.
you expect, you expect things for you, you also have to give that same, room for me as well.
Absolutely. And absolutely I get it because growing up I was a little different from my siblings, right? And so it was a totally different generation, right? I grew up in that grunge era, or I was attracted to that stuff, right? So my mother didn't know how to handle that. So, like you just said, like I'm just being myself. Like, what do you mean you don't get, But she was afraid. She's like, "Who the heck are you?" And I felt you're so ignorant. But now that I'm a parent, it's the same shit. It's the same them going, how are you so ignorant and stupid? You don't see it. No, it's just how it has to work. It's just how, but yes, of course, if it was one of my children, we'd love them no matter what. And I would fight anyone who
That's what I
told
tell
me.
my kids. I was like, I don't like. Luckily, all my kids they're not rough. They're not straggling or traveling a rough road. But if they did,
Right.
it would not affect the way that like I feel about them. I mean, like I'm glad they don't have to travel a rougher road than they have to. But like, it
Right.
wouldn't have changed how I felt about them.
I think
Yes, and I would battle anyone who would tell me, right? Like, oh my God, even though maybe my thoughts were the same, I would battle anyone, like fist flying. You're not going to tell me that my child is this way. Oh, I get it. It's just so. I
yeah,
get it.
I don't even think it's like anybody being closed-minded that feels the way of like I don't get it. I think it's just human nature to acclimate to what is supposed to be normal. So
From what you're used to, right?
right, like you're almost like you're conditioned to whatever your peers think is cool, you think is cool. Whatever is normal, that's normal. Whatever is bad, that's bad. Like so, and society is not that much different. It's just on a much broader scale. So, like when someone goes, "Yeah, I don't like these people because they're like this," but it's like not just one person; it's like five of your friends saying it. That is peer pressure. That is you're kind of predisposed to go, Yeah, I don't like that either. Like it's not even like the choice is alienate your peers or speak out and be ridiculed and separate from the tribe or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like it's so hard to
That's
be
real shit.
yeah, it's so hard to be like, no, I stand for this if you're not in that group. If you're in the group, you go, no, that's not right. These people should have freedoms, but that's when you're in the group. When you're someone that isn't in the group, you're just gonna kind of go, yeah, I get it, because you don't, it's very harsh for human beings to be alienated for other human beings. As much as people go, I hate people, people suck. I bought a magnet. I hate most people, and I put it on my fridge. But at the same time, I love individuals. It's this weird paradox where, like, I love talking to an individual, but I drive on the freeway and I'm like, why? Why do these people suck so bad? Like, it's a paradox. It's weird, right?
Man, I love it. We started this off deep, right?
Right. Get your hands in there. Get dirty. Get to the good shit.
Here's the good shit. The reason I asked Blue Label Johnny to be on here is because you have a podcast. So let's plug this shit right now. It's called On Air Don't Care. And I have told, let me just say, I have told a few friends, and I swear to you, I'm going to interview a guy. I say friend, but I feel stupid saying friend because we don't really know each other anymore. But I'm going to say friend.
It's euphemistic. I get it.
Right. Yes. Perfect word. Thank you. And I've said, but he has this podcast called On Air Don't Care. Every person I've said, and it was 3 people, they said, that's a cool name. That's a cool name, including Jason. That's a cool name. So I would like you to explain, like, if you don't mind, there's a lot of dynamics. I watched an episode, man, today, and I really laughed at it. It was good. Fuck it. Oh, sorry, my F. I say F a lot. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna try not to drop them, but I like.
No, you be yourself, baby.
We hardly ever. We don't ever. What's the word?
There's no monitoring. So. I noticed that, and I thought that was really cool. That's why I knew that, like, this would be good because you don't monitor. We don't edit, just so you know too. We don't edit. God, there's a fucking. Okay.
So, if you don't mind me asking, how many people were on the episode you watched?
1, 2. Okay, there was someone called Chocolate Daddy.
Okay. So, the reason I ask
1,
is
2, 3, 4, and there was
Chocolate Daddy tells me everything I need to know. So, the show started, I want to say 8 years ago, but I started it with a friend of mine who has since passed away. And that so it was he and I created it. He also he's from a town in East Texas called Kilgore. And and I knew that, like, when he passed away, I had known him 20 years. So we starting the show, this guy's already like my brother. And it was literally when we started it, I don't think you could go live at the time. I don't even think that was an option on most of the social media networks. That going live was not an option. We would shoot the episode, edit it. I mean, that was the only way, and then put it on Facebook or wherever we were putting it. And I mean, that guy and mine, if you go back and watch those episodes, he is, I mean, that the dynamic, it's hard to explain because it's it's us, but it wasn't us, because he would play a character that was not very much himself, but little bit rooted himself, but amplified to where opinions and things he was saying really wasn't him. And then I was playing a character that was exaggerated of who I am, but not there were things that he would make fun of me about that, if in real life, if somebody made fun of me, those things, I was absolutely would erupt at you, but because or I wouldn't erupt. And but just for the dynamic for the show, we would create
everybody was showboating. I'm gonna embellish who I am.
He's absolutely correct, because off air, of course this guy and I would have arguments, but so much of how we think and what we evolve, either we wouldn't get in an argument or we do agree on this, but for the show, our animosity is what like fueled people. Like, this was my best friend, and we would kill an episode, and then when this is when we would go live, people would call our phones and think that he and I were actually angry at one another. And like literally the moment we hit stop, we're like dapping each other up and going, "Oh my God, that was a great," like, but it was like the dynamic of the characters was so good. People really thought we were angry at one another.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I get it first and foremost from, there's a show that's based out of Cleveland called Rover's Morning Glory. And he is very arrogant and opinionated. He has this woman who is very like feminist, and then like a musclehead
ex-girlfriend.
Who you later find out that they were dating. And then he has this musclehead that used to do all these dares and stuff. But like, he literally, like, it's his show. He takes center stage, and then he's got someone to tell him that he's wrong because he's minimizing women, and someone to tell him that he's a pussy because he doesn't work out and bench 220. So he set it up where like there's two extremes to his point of view, and
we took pages out of that playbook.
Right, it's the same playbook. Right, exactly. And he's done very well for himself. He's a multimillionaire. He's great, and they still put on a good show. It's toned down as he's gotten older, but it's the same thing where you need to have conflict to have content. That was his playbook. Just like Howard Stern. Yeah. Why is Howard Stern yelling at a 50-year-old woman, calling her an old hag that's done nothing with her life? Because it's conflict, and people are attracted to conflict. You ever see two randos fighting on the street?
We have thousands of people in our lives.
Like, oh shit, they're fighting? That's conflict. Like, people love conflict.
Right. So you're saying you started the first show with you and someone else. That was it?
Someone else. And then when he passed away 3 years ago now, and then grief hit me hard. So like I tried different iterations with different people, but nobody really like was putting the effort that I wanted to give. And then finally, he's no longer part of the show now, but like last year we were filming live at a bar in Fort Worth. And so like it created a whole kind of what you saw is the child of where we started last year. And so like where it started with just me and 80, my friend that started the show. I had a producer. I had assistants. We had guests.
Awesome. Wow, that's fantastic.
So now is where it's the kind of the evolution of that now. Entirely different show. It's still fun to do, but it is like not the same as it was like what we started out.
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to be fluid with what do people expect from you? What do they expect from what you're doing? And you have to be able to. Yeah, you have to be able to do that. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're trying to do something that's important to you, and you want people to like it. So you know, the importance is on, I want to, Howard Stern, I want to be on the radio, and I want to talk to people and talk to real people, or, Joe Rogan, I want to interview people that matter and talk to them, or David Letterman for that matter did My Next Guest Needs No Introduction.
Right.
I want to talk to these highly established people and just have a conversation, which is awesome. And even that in and of itself is like a great thing that like I'm so well known and they know I'm well known and I know they're well known. So we'll be able to come together because I'm Jay-Z and he's David Letterman. I would love to talk to him because he's a cool dude, So sometimes you don't have to search for a way for it to work out. It just works out how it's meant to.
So the episode I watched, you asked how many people were on there.
It was probably 4. It was 4 people. My son, my oldest son, is the one that sits on the right. That's my oldest son. The person that the boy with the long hair. That's my oldest son.
Really?
That's my oldest son. Chocolate Daddy is a good friend of mine. I've known him about 10 years. And then the person sitting on the left is my son's sister, who I also is like my adopted child. So like,
okay, because they have the same they go by the same last name.
Well, so the last name was made up. The last name that the guy that I created the show with, he's like their uncle. He's the one that gave him the pseudo last name, which is also like we used to make music, and one of his pseudonyms was 80 Proof Coleone, and so like he designated my children as Coleone, so like they go by Coleone.
Okay, that's why I knew it was familiar to me, right? The whole like, I was like, whoa, I heard the name and I thought, maybe I didn't hear that correctly. And I thought, maybe they're brother and sister. That's so funny. But like, man, the minute I heard that, I was like, my ears perked up. That's great. The episode I watched, I'm gonna go ahead. Sorry,
they're also my best friends.
So. That's fantastic. She's cute, and she has the cutest little giggle. I'm telling you, like I watched this episode was so good. I thought listen, whoever watch it, like I'm telling you, check out. It was so good. I'm gonna go in my history real quick. I'm sorry, give me a moment here. Because I want people to know.
Is it like on YouTube? Can they find you at On Air Don't Care?
So we go live, every Wednesday, and the live goes out to Facebook, and it goes out to YouTube, and it goes out to Twitter, and then I simultaneously record the live, so just in case the broadband or the broadwidth or whatever isn't good, I have an HD recording, and I submit the HD recording up to Spotify.
Okay, so
you can even watch the video on Spotify.
Yeah, so if someone searches On Air Don't Care, it's you. That's you.
If you search with the hashtag On Air Don't Care, one word, I promise you will find it. We'll be the only
hashtag On Air Don't Care. That's awesome, man.
And I'm old, so I didn't understand the hashtag. I put the @ sign, and I went On Air Don't, and it came up immediately. So, because I'm old. Right. So if you're old, put the @ sign.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's on some whatever social media it is at whatever, but officially, like on Spotify, if you go to Spotify and you type in the hashtag all one word On Air Don't Care, first thing pops up is this.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's really cool that technology and the internet and sites like YouTube and Facebook, they really have given everyone a voice. And that's not to say everyone cares to hear your voice, but they've given everyone a voice. And
it gives you the opportunity.
When I was like 18, when I was 18, like nobody had a voice. Like the people that had a voice, it was very slim. And now I feel that everyone has a chance to express themselves and put themselves out there. You know, and there are people that are going to hate on you for doing you, and those people suck, and I don't like them. But I think it's great that at least you can do it. At least you can try and do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I really.
Sorry, Kerri, go ahead.
Oh no, baby, you go.
What I was gonna say is like when we started, for many episodes, days after I drop them, 4 views, 5 views, but eventually it got to the point where we'd get off the live, and of course in the beginning days I couldn't monitor if he and I would be in it, so there was no way for me to monitor it, effectively, and we'd get off and it'd be 1,000 viewers, hundreds of comments, people arguing.
Love it.
Inside of our comments, I was like, what? What is that?
That's great.
Yeah. My thing to anybody doing a podcast is don't worry about the numbers. Do you have fun doing it?
Absolutely.
If you have fun, then I mean, I can't even guarantee you success. But here's the flip side of not success that I love about doing a podcast. My friend passed away. I have hundreds of episodes of recorded conversations
That's
I
nice.
have with this man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
And
nice.
sometimes when I don't have something going on, I go live watching an old episode. And
That's
like
great.
the comments people get like of watching me, they're like, you laugh at all the same places you did when you're laughing in the episode. I'm like,
Right.
because
Right.
that motherfucker's
That's
still funny to
beautiful.
me.
That's
That's
beautiful,
awesome.
man. That's beautiful. It's the same shit I do with like text messages. I know it sounds stupid, but like I save every text message my kid sends me or Jason. It's a group text. I save every one because, and my son Xavier over the weekend, he's like, why don't you? And I said, because something may happen to you, and then I don't have them. I totally get it, man. That's great. That's great. Can I just say real quick, the episode I watched today.
Oh God.
The title even cracked me up. It's called, and look, I am not tough at all, right? This says talk. Here we go. Talk slick, I'll beat you right. I have no idea what the hell that means, but talk slick, I'll beat you right. It was hilarious. They were talking about they were at a concert and they were smoking weed and then they started talking about their first jobs at Waffle House and like it was like, oh yeah, well I used to sell drugs. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I'm telling you, if you want to check out his On Air Don't Care, go to that episode. I'm telling you, it entertained me through work. I thought it was hilarious. It was great. It reminded me of like, it just reminded me of us. Like they're just talking, man. Like it was so good. The dynamic is good. You should be proud of that. The dynamic is good. And I find that girl adorable because that's tough, man. She's the only girl in the room and she holds her own, Jay. Like she is like,
well, I can't show her this episode now.
She's tough.
She can't watch this. I said she can't watch this.
Nah, I really liked her, man. She was cool. Like she's tough. Tough. Yeah. I am not tough. And that's so funny because
she's a badass. She's a badass. No, continue. She's a badass.
No. It's like she
Kerri
really is.
Don't listen to her. Kerri is tough as nails. Like, don't even listen to her saying she's not tough. Yeah, she is. She's a tough person. She's got fangs, man. She'll take you down. Don't worry about that. No, but
I'll take it as a compliment coming from her.
When they're needed, yes, it is a compliment. But it's funny, like I think you and I were talking, like, because I posted some picture of us in like 6th grade, like this class picture, and you were like, remember, you were like, you were always a badass, right? And you're like, you were always a badass. I'm like, what are you talking about? And you were like, yeah, you always wear Converse, and you had your like. I'm like, what? Like what? It's just so weird. And I was talking to my son and I was telling him that I was going to do this podcast with you. Right. And he's like, well, how do you know him? And I said, well, last time I talked to him, I went the whole thing. And I said, here's the thing, man, here's what I really reached out to you. Cause I thought like the last time I knew you were quiet. You were quiet, man, shy, introverted. Right. And so I thought that's so badass, man, when you were like, yeah, and like, wow, I really was like, that's really cool. And so I was telling my son, he was always I only knew him but I was like, look, I only knew him since I was 10 or 11, but he was always shy and he was this. And Xavier, that's my youngest son, he's like, that's cool. He's like, I said, yeah, but he always thought I was tough, but I wasn't. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of weird how perception. I'm like, yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I'm like, and it's like so cool, man, to see that, like, because my youngest son, he's a little more shy, right? He's introverted, Jason, right? So I think that he understood, like, he was kind of like, he said, that's cool. When I was like, yeah, he's not like that. Like, he does a podcast. And like, here, I could tell, I know him very well. And he could tell, like, I could tell he was very like, well, that's kind of cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because he has been like a little underdog. You know what I mean? Like he's shy, keeps to himself, leave me alone. You know, but he's very creative, and he's just he gets underlooked because people don't like to look under the rocks, right? They don't want to look under the
I
stuff,
have
right?
my two boys, I mean, like both, both very much like me, but
Mm.
at both of my extremes. So that means they're very unlike one another, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and my
Yep.
oldest son, the one on the show, he's the very handsome, very, like outspoken, and then my younger son,
Amazing.
like he's quiet, reserved, you know what I'm saying? So he doesn't get all the looks, he doesn't get all the, the same attention, but like but knowing them both, they're very, talented in their own rights. You know what I'm saying? They both have their own strengths, you know what I'm saying? And they're aware of their weaknesses. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like they may not be alike, but they are in essence, their nuances are very similar.
Yeah.
Well, are you saying that even on the show he's more reserved? Because he didn't seem that way to me.
No. That's my oldest. My oldest is on the show. So he's
right. Okay.
He's
the one that's next to Chocolate Bear.
That one? No, my youngest is not on the show. My youngest son has no desire to be on the podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Chocolate Daddy is a buddy of mine from a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, my youngest is not on the show. He's not he's not outspoken like that to be on the podcast. Like he wants to do a podcast, but he wants to do stuff about like nerd things, like anime and comic books. He didn't want to do he didn't want to do a podcast just about like which I
Minecraft, Elden Ring. He wants to do
I love all that stuff too. We just don't talk about it on air. Don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
no,
so he wouldn't have a place on the show. Yeah.
When you said there would be extremes, and that's so Jason and I can relate to that so much. The one that my youngest son Xavier, who I'm talking about, he acts just like me, except I'm more like blah in your face, right? And Jason's not. He's a little more reserved, so he has that. And then the flip side is our middle son. He's like Jason when it comes to like a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like he's extreme, but it's like. How do you describe it, Jason?
They're like 90% replicas of our personality.
Yeah,
but
he's
there's
more ambition. He has more like, I'm going to go out and do this.
There's like a 10% layover. So they're 90% just like us, but there's like a 10% difference. But that makes a huge difference.
Huge.
And I don't know if it was because of how they were raised. I don't know if it's because us as parents. I can't tell you why there's that difference, but there is that difference. Like it's noticeable that like,
and it's the thing,
you can identify with this person so much, but then they do something you don't expect, and then you think, oh, that's a little different. That's not just like me, and you can't nail it down to like, that must have been Kerri or that must have been Jason. It's just like, the years they grew up in, the technology, like just like these other influences. So I think that's what makes me and Kerri wanted to do this, because literally there's not a person on this planet that you could meet and talk to for like an hour that isn't unique, completely unique, unlike anyone else. But the things they say, thousands of people can relate to. It's a conundrum, because you would think like, oh, everyone's unique, so therefore no one can relate to anyone. But it's the opposite. They are unique, but at the same time, their life experiences, like how they feel, all that, they relate because of the things they have in common, but they're also slightly different. And that's wild. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is. It is.
Agreed.
Where did you guys come up with the name On Air Don't Care?
Well, I mean, so it was real crazy. So like when we did the podcast, I had like literally, had we did it when I wanted to, we probably would have beat Joe Rogan to even making a podcast. But like he was like, nah, I don't want to do it. And then so like he had to move back to East Texas for a little bit. And then when he came back, he was like, let's do a podcast. And I was like, you mother, like we could have been like, he's like, no, we didn't. No, he didn't. I was like, I did. You just totally said you didn't feel like doing the play. He's like, no, I would have did it. I was like, whatever. But like, so
Right.
it was, I mean, like we had thrown back. He had an album that he had that like at the time he wanted to call that the show that name. And he had a buddy of his that like he wanted to do the show with. And like, I told him, I was like, watch. And like, because it was him and his wife was, I mean, gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? Like him telling me about this first iteration of the show that he wanted to do. I was like, oh, this is gonna be, man, her alone, just dudes are gonna want to watch the show. Yeah. Like seriously, she's that fine. And then, but then like we were all meeting, getting ready to like do this. I was like, they're not gonna do the show. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, they're gonna get scared. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, I already know. Like, they're like, it's podcasts are all fun and game to talk about, but like when you get in front of a camera, you put the microphone there, you see who's really going to do something, who's not. And guess who never showed up to do our first episode? Both of them. And like, and you know what I'm saying? And like,
it's hard. I get it.
Yeah. And then we like, I think that day, something, you know, like, I don't care, you know, like, so, you know, like, I don't care, I'm gonna go live, and on air, don't care. Something out of like our frustration out of them being scared come to do the show. We're like, I don't care, I'm gonna go, you know, I'm gonna go. And so somebody must have said it, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't care, I'm gonna go live and don't care.
Yeah, so, it's a great name, man.
We came out of it was organic. We came with the name organically. Like, and he was,
I think that's why it works. Yeah.
He's like we're both rappers, but like his lyric game is crazy. So like he would come up with, you know, great taglines and nicknames, and you know, his mind worked well at branding. So
sometimes what you think of in the moment it far surpasses what you would have thought of if you had hours to think about it. Because I do comedy.
My life is that way. Like a lot of times where preparation should land you the better like final product, more often than not, me procrastinating somehow grants me grace and like, you're a genius. And I'm like, I feel like if I would have spent time on this, you wouldn't feel this way. Like,
yeah. I think intelligent people overthink and they think too much.
Jason, sorry, real quick. My phone's gonna die, so let me switch to my earbuds. I got new mics and I think it drains my phone. I'm sorry guys to interrupt. I might go off the screen for a little bit. That's because I'm trying to get my earbuds and all that stuff going. So sorry. Go ahead. Talk.
No, I'm just saying, like, I do comedy and I've thought of lines in the moment that were like hilarious in that moment that people like died for in that moment. But I can't replicate that in the future because it's not that moment. And it's a very weird thing to try to explain to the average person because it's like, oh, if it's funny, it's funny. But no, it's also what came before, your attitude, like where you are in your set. Like, so I totally get how something could happen organically that is great. But if you would have thought about it, it wouldn't have been great because you wouldn't have been in that moment. Like there's something to be in the moment. As I'm sure professional athletes, like, no, I was in the moment. I was zen, like that type of stuff. And it's weird to try to like go. No, I'm just saying it's weird to try to explain if you don't have any context for that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Alexander K, aka Chocolate Daddy, he's also a stand-up comedian. So like, you know, it's something it's something he talks about a lot too. But like to your point, is like I feel like I'm a very, very funny person. But like just like you're stating, like what's funny in the moment may not translate to like trying to reiterate, like that's exactly what, like I tried doing an open mic. It was a 5-minute spot that I only did 3 minutes of, and it was the most
Yeah.
excruciating. I'm like, while I love being funny, I think I'm hilarious. I know I don't want to do it doing stand-up comedy. Like, do I think, given time and effort, do I think I could like translate what I do into a stand-up set? I think I could, but it didn't fulfill any like joy inside me the way I feel stand-ups do when they do something like that. But I totally get like how something could be funny but not translate funny to another time.
Right.
Like,
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
It might be a delay though.
John.
You're breaking up.
All right, hold up. Let me see what's better. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I know I'm sorry.
Technical difficulties.
So how long have you been doing stand-up comedy, Jason?
I had done it a year in December, so I'm like 18 months in. I did win a stand-up contest. That was really cool. That made me feel really good about myself. I've opened for people.
Really?
Yeah. You know.
Nice.
Yeah, I do have a good skill set for it. I have always wanted to do it for many years. I have some skill at it. It is very there's a lot of variables, man, because for me the hardest part is like I know I can do 5 minutes that people like think are hilarious. But how am I ever going to get more minutes if I just do my best 5 minutes? So it's like you have to write new jokes, you have to try them, you have to, and then the audience is different every time. So then you have that to contend with. So there's an art to it. The only thing I can try to say is like sometimes you're like in the moment, in the zone, and you will just say something you haven't written down. And it kills, and you're just doing really well. Like you just like your killer instinct in that moment pays off, and it's awesome. And there's no the only other feeling I've ever had like that is like when I'm playing poker and like you get dealt a hand and then like boom on the flop you got aces over queens or some shit. Like it's just weird. Like it just comes together in those moments, and it's so beautiful, and it makes me so happy. But however, that's not always the moment you get, you know. So it's like for me, I relate to the things a little bit the same. Like I love it so much when it works. It's so beautiful and it makes me so happy, but it doesn't always work. And I guess that's like every person in life, like my relationship with my children, my job, like when it works, it's fucking great and I love it, but it doesn't always work. So I guess it's just par for the course for what life is. But when I'm on stage and I'm making an audience laugh, that's a happiness. I wouldn't replace that with any other happiness. Not orgasms, not winning at poker. That's the best for me. That fulfills me in a way like there's no words.
You know, well, I think it's because that's like a passion. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm just
yeah.
And it kind of like leads me to like what I wanted to ask you, John, was you DJ as well. So Jason, I think it's like a passion, like what you're saying, right? You have a passion for the comedy. You have a passion for that.
Absolutely.
The DJing, when did that start? Like, because that's different, man. So like, that's very artistic and it's very personal and very like, I mean, that's art. It truly is. That's definitely, it's in my opinion, it is something like a comic. Like you have to reach, like you want to keep these people going, right? So you have to find the music to keep going. So like I don't know, I want to know a little more about that. Like when did that start? Like
I mean,
is that a passion?
like I before podcast and everything, like I started out like I mean, even before I met 80, I was doing 80 Proof is who I used to start the show with. But even before I met him, I started out doing music. And then when we linked up, that's what everything was like our friendship and everything built behind that we were like collaborating on music together. And so
How
like
old were you?
just
How old were you?
I was when I first started music, like probably when I left Stephen F. Austin University, probably like 21 or whatever, but like
Okay.
probably didn't get rolling until like 23, 24, while I had more of my own gear. But just accumulating gear, I would find that I'm like, I could DJ a party. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like, I remember like I was missing a few pieces of gear when somebody's like, you want to DJ a party? I was like, yeah, I can do it. And like, I realized that I had paid for that gear that I just bought and had money left over. And I'm like, like I need to really look in this little DJ thing. So I mean, DJing is very much an art, but I wish I could say that my foray into it was art. I mean, like I have gotten to a point where like I have become like artistic with it, but for many years, like I taught myself how to do the bare minimum and like was just a professional. And that professionalism, like, you know, like I started out in the nightclub industry, but like when I started getting private events, just being professional took me further than being like the hot DJ. So like by the time I got to,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was just by the time I got to 30, I had like stopped trying to be like this nightclub DJ because I was, you know, like I was getting money there, and that's like being in your 20s, like I'm going to nightclubs, I'm meeting women, I'm getting paid to be there. I don't have to pay you know, the ups are ups, but then like I'm learning that I don't like you have to like stay in this race to be relevant. In like if you're trying to get paid a lot of money in this nightclub game, or you could like I'm doing now is I'm just doing these low like in, you know, like dive bars, smaller scale bars, whatever, like just doing it like whatever. But at that time in my life, trying to stay in this little race of being relevant was just not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're having to kiss people's ass, like, you know what I'm saying, party with these people and and then like then I'm learning, I'm like, if I just show up on time, respectful, do a good job, like I don't got to play these other games. I was like, nah, this is much easier to do. So
totally. That's like yeah, it's word of mouth, right? Oh, he's a good DJ. He can do my wedding. He can do my kid's bar mitzvah, right? Like, right. But like, no, you're right. Like, that's hard to break out in DJ. I'm old, so Daft Punk is the last freaking DJs that even if they were DJs, maybe they weren't. In my brain, they were. Like, that was the last popular ones. Like, and I didn't even go to one. I just heard it from like weird techno shit that I didn't even know. I just thought, the one song's cool. So those are the last ones. Yeah, that's hard to break out of that shit. There's no way.
But to me, but with DJ for me, it's just been able to fund my like I'm also hold on. I'm also like an aspiring filmmaker. So what has allowed me to do is like allowed me to be able to like pursue my dreams without having to do a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and just, you know, waste 40, 60 hours of my life to somebody else's to like, because being a private event DJ, whatever, I only have to be at these places a few hours of a week to, you know, like to do this. So it helps me to be able to have free time to do these other things that I want to do. So
I love that. I love that. I really do. I guess if I could have like a wish, I would love that. I would love to be able to just like create and make a living and not have to do that bullshit 9 to 5 shit and just like be in my element. If I could be like, seriously, if I could be like who I want to be, right? Like, oh my God, I'd be some weirdo like Kat Von D and shit. Like seriously, like I would be like someone like that.
Let me tell you, like right now, I could work in, I'm not as an actor. I could work in production in TV shows, movies. I could if I want to. I worked on the last show I worked on was Yellowstone 1886. So like I worked on show before that. I could do this now if I wanted to, but doing that is just like working somebody's at a regular 9 to 5. I'm low man
Well,
on the totem pole.
it's
I'm doing
it's
something somebody else is
makeup,
telling me
it's
to do.
lines. It's like, yeah, it's like there's a whole spiel. Like sometimes people see the end result and they think, "Oh my God, that's awesome," but they don't get that there's a whole thing, there's a whole spiel before you get to the end result.
The
But it's
glamour.
not just
You see
that,
the
Jason.
glamour.
Like, but it's not just that, Jason. It's like, so like I know, but like working in production, I know lots of people who they love their job. They love this
Yeah.
little nuanced part of filmmaking and their job in it. But like I have this desire to sit in the big chair. I
Okay.
care about the nuance of every little bit. And it's not enough
Okay.
for me to just be sectioned off in this one thing. Like I have an opinion
Yeah.
of the set dressing. I have an opinion of the way that of the acting, the
Okay.
lighting, the camera. Like I'm talking about, I have an opinion for all this, and I don't know how to shut the fuck up. So like
Okay.
I
Okay.
cannot just be in this. Like it's just not for me. Like so, like I'd
Yeah.
rather have a $10 budget and be the director than get paid $1,000 a day to set the lights up for somebody else's production.
I get it. I get it. That makes a lot of sense to me.
So where do you want your career? Where do you want Blue Label Johnny's career to go? Like, what is it that you're like getting for? Like, what is it? What's a fucking apple you pick off the tree? And
I mean,
go,
like
yep.
my dream is to like, so I have a script in my brain that has literally been cooking for, I'm 47. I'll be 47 this month. At the end of this month, I'll be 47 years old. This idea has been cooking in my brain for over 35 years. And like, I want to see it to be in a movie theater at running about an hour and 45 minutes long. Like that is my, like, that will be, I would say I would accomplish what I want to. If that's in movie theaters for everybody to see, like that will be, that's my goal.
Okay, here's mine. To tell you mine, I have always dreamed of having a 1 hour special on, Comedy Central, Netflix, HBO, Hulu. I don't care. 1 hour special. I sell this 1 hour special to the network of whatever buys it. And I don't even care about the money, but I sell my 1 hour and I just crush it for an hour, and everybody fucking laughs and they're like so happy, and I make these people so happy for that hour because I've been perfecting it for like months and years, and I just fucking crush it. And it's not about me selling it to them and the money I get from
then put
that.
it on YouTube.
No. I feel it's a cop out. Put it on YouTube.
But you see how successful some of these guys are putting their specials on YouTube?
Someone needs to recognize how good I am for an hour, that they pay me like some amount of money and they're like, we want your special, and I do it and I sell it and it's really fucking good. And that's my thing, man. That's my like focal point, is like I want to get to the top of the pyramid. And for me, everybody wants to get to the top of the pyramid. Everybody. For me, the top of the pyramid is
I no longer care about the top of the pyramid.
Me either.
I don't care about the top of the pyramid.
So only me. Okay. Thanks, guys. Way to support. So for me, the top of the pyramid is telling an hour of my comedy to a network and they buy it, and I crush it because I've been doing it for the last like year, and I know it kills, and that would give me an immense amount of like happiness and validation and all that. So that's where I'm at.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
But let me explain let me at least see my point to what I mean. Like, I get what you're saying, but one thing, Sidney J, 80 Proof Writer, the guy I started the show with, I got a shot. I mean, like, rest in peace. That's my brother forever. He's one of the most talented rappers I've ever been in the presence of. I've recorded him. I hear the music. Like, when people hear the music, they're like, who the fuck is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just me. I mean, like, I'm sure I'm more biased than most people, but like, I recognize this man's talent very early on. And then I remember at some point, I'm just like, dude, why? Like, I mean, I had people offer us to record his albums, take us on tour, And I'm like, and I mean, like, I would never understand the reason, but I'm like, oh, he's going to say no. And they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, right. And I would take him the offer and be like, nope, I don't want to do it. And like, and people around us, they'd be like, oh, he's scared of, he's got a fear of success. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, and that's what most people, whatever, like would chalk that up to. And then I remember, this is probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 years before he died. So not well into knowing this man, but like not long before he passed away, he was like, let me tell you, he's like, I already know I'm the best. He's like, I know I'm the best. I don't care if I sell 1 record or 1,000,000 records. The only person's approval I'm looking for is me. He's like, I put music out. Like we have like at least 100 songs on Spotify. He's like, I don't care. I'm never going to look at how many people listen to them. He's like, I'm just putting them out there because that's my metric to do as a rapper, is to put it out. He's like, but I have no desire to go drive around and do shows, go on tour. He's like, I don't want to sign a record deal. He's like, I don't care about any of that. He's like, being better than I was on my last song is the only metric that I was like. So I'm not going to waste a record label's time or a manager's, a producer, nobody's time. He's like, I want to just record you. I don't want to go to a big studio. I just want to record you and just do what I do, how I do it. And like, and I'm now like that too, where we're like, I just want to do the things that I want to do the way I want to do them, and nobody can tell me how else to do it.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel too. I get it. If someone say, "Hey, Kerri, what's your dream?" Like seriously, like I just want to be myself. Because if I could truly be myself, I wouldn't look like this. I'm living a character. Like I do this Marilyn Monroe shit. That's fucking character, right? I would be like fucking like Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice, like weird and unusual. Like I would just express, right? I just want to express about someone going, you're fucking weird. That's truly,
I don't care about that either, though. I'll be weird. Like
that's what I want.
I will dress like a gangster one day, and I'll dress like a cowboy the next day. And then Friday, I'll go to a cosplay event and dress like a samurai. And then, and then wear an Iron Man. Like I give 0 shits about what anybody thinks at this day at the time of my life. Like
I think that's great. I really do.
Like you can laugh, you can do anything, and I won't care. Like you're free to laugh at me because, like, let me tell you, nobody's enjoying life more than Blue Label Johnny. Nobody's enjoying life more than Blue Label Johnny.
I love that. I think that's great. And then the name On Air Don't Care, it totally gets it. Like seriously, I like seriously, I love that. I think that's great, and I think you keep doing that. I think that's great. I don't envy it. It actually like gives me like a little more like, well, it's okay. Like I like that. I really do. It's really cool, man. Thank you. I mean, goddamn, I could keep going all night. I could keep going all night asking questions because it's just wild, man. We don't have
the second something stops being fun for me is when I stop doing it. Like I said, the second something stops being fun for me is when I stop doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even I'm gonna be personal, like because I know some families watching this too. This was a little hard for me to even start doing this because I knew that I'd have some family watching and they're going to judge, you know what I mean? And so it's hard for me because I always felt like people always said, you're different. I wasn't trying to be different. I really wasn't. I was just being myself. So when they're like, why are you acting like that? Why are you doing this? I truly was not going on my way to be different. You know,
it's so funny because me and Kerri are like polar opposites. We're like the most different people you could ever imagine. So like, she's like, we should do a podcast. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And like, it just, I don't know. I don't.
We are
like my best relationship with people are my polar opposites.
Yeah, like she's worried about what people will think, and like. I give 0 fucks. Like I don't even care. Like it's fine. Like you can like me. You can look down on me. I don't care. Like it's cool, man. Like as long as you're not mean to me, we're good.
Yeah.
It's a weird mentality, but it's actually like the best mentality because you're kind of just zen. You're just like,
Free. It's free.
yeah. I think
Very
that
true.
you shouldn't have said this because that wasn't nice. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I only said what I felt. I'll talk to you later, and you just walk away. Like there's no,
I mean,
I
there's
know.
no, there's no basis for conflict if someone is just being themselves and they're nice to you. Like, what do you have? How can you come at them? Like, I don't know.
No, I know, but it's everyone is different. Everyone,
Yeah.
my sister, my siblings grew up with the same parents, right? Same parents. They're all, you see what I'm saying? Like, everyone's so different, man. And
me and my brother, Lufkin, Texas upbringing, 3 years difference, polar opposites. Same elementary school, same high school. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't go to the same college, but he went to a college in Texas. So we like I went to Stephen F. Austin. He went to the not University of Houston, Sam Houston University. So
Wait, your brother went to St. Patrick's?
No,
You
the
had an
same.
older
Yeah,
brother?
he went, but he's 3 years younger than I was. Yeah,
He was younger.
younger
Okay,
than I
I
was.
had
3
an
years
older
younger than I was.
brother who went to St.
No
Patrick's.
younger, no older brothers.
He was old.
But I did
Okay,
have,
okay.
but like I did have, there were Indian kids that went to St. Patrick's that were like my
Yes.
older brothers who were older.
Oh, okay, okay.
But like, yeah, he and I like people that are around even to this day look at me and my brother like, how the like I'm.
Yeah.
We're like I'm Indian. Both of my parents are from South India, so like I mean, like I am the first American-born child of Indian immigrants, and so like my brother, we had this. Me and my brother have this exact same story, but like who we are as people could not be any more different. He is like my polar opposite.
And you're raised by the same people, man. The
Same
same people,
same exact
and they wanted
way.
the same for you as each other. They just wanted their kids to be happy, right? And it's just so different because everyone's
he and
like
I
so many things play into who you are as a person.
It just is. You're born.
Yeah, it's so complicated.
It is.
And that's what I think. Like at 47 years old in life, that's what I realized. And like, I mean, I still judge people and I'm prejudiced, but what I try to do is like realize that every person on this planet is on their own journey. Like they've had their own like
and they're on their own. Yeah.
And sometimes when they're bad people, that might be because of the experiences they've had. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's like, so like while you can't judge them, it's like, you know, like how are they supposed to be anything other than what they were now if other things made them into what they are? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know,
yeah, absolutely.
And you don't even know what they went through. That's why Jay and I wanted to do this, because it was called One Last Question, because like
because everybody's got a story, man.
Fascinated by people. We're not. I mean, yes, I like celebrities. I like all that stuff. But I'm more fascinated if Jerry and I go to a bar and there's some dude crying at the bar. I am more fascinated with him. Yeah. What are you crying about, man?
Yeah, everybody's got a story, man.
Everyone.
So honor don't care. Even now, we shoot at a dive bar in Denton, Texas. When we set up, I swear that there are crazier conversations being had at the bar while I'm setting up than the crazy conversations that we have. Crazy conversations, and yet still I will ear hustle the craziest stories, and I'm like, oh God, I wish I could talk about that.
Right. I think people like that kind of flock together. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's good. I think that's good. Like, you have to. If I find people that I thought got me, oh my gosh, I'm too emotional. I'm too sensitive. I'm too like on a different realm where I read into words and poetry and music. And so if I have people that could go, yeah, I get it too, I don't know what the fuck I would do. Like, seriously, my siblings like that. And if they are, they don't show it. And that's fine. That's fine. I mean, they love me. I love them. You know what I'm saying? It's just wild. Like, you come from the same stock, man, but you're just born different. It's just, I love that. I love that dynamic. I think it's great. I really do. Thank you. I really appreciate you, man, doing this. And I could talk to you. I would love to talk to you again, because we
Well,
don't,
man,
like I
Chives, it's
said,
been a great conversation. I ask a lot of people to be on my podcast, but I don't get a lot of requests to be on other people's podcasts.
We really enjoyed it. I thought you were a great guy.
I love it. Like
Yeah.
we don't edit. We told each other we're not going to edit. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And Amy, the last episode we posted, I was like, I don't know, we should do this, and he's like, nope. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah, put it out there, because
I was
we're not
on a
gonna read the
podcast a couple of
comments, we're not
months
gonna do
ago,
that
and
shit,
like
right?
I was on a friend's podcast a few months ago, and I watched it. He puts it out. They put it out like a month or two after we did it, and like it starts 30 minutes after he said they started. Like I was like, I said a bunch of hilarious things there. I was like, what? And then he literally bleeps me during the episode. I'm like, dude, if I known you were gonna like do all this, I wouldn't just came on the show. I was like, you know who I am. You've been on my show. Like if you could edit me and censor me, I was like, we could just save some time. Like,
Absolutely.
We don't edit because nobody's being hateful. Everybody's just talking, and there's nothing wrong with having an opinion unless you're hateful. And nobody was. We're all good. Like we wouldn't
remind
wouldn't
me
invite
to
people
send
on.
y'all.
What was that?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Remind me to send y'all a link of one of our episodes we did last year at the library bar. There is a I would guess the best way to describe this guy is an alt-right, I guess, comedian. Like he I can't even think of his name right now, so it's escaping my name. But Glenn Beck has a studio here, and he has like several like it's a huge studio. It's got several wings. In fact, it's like a small Hollywood backlot, like 3 Hollywood backlot buildings, and there's several. One of them has like several podcast studios in it, and this guy has a show on Glenn Beck's little station, whatever. And he's a comedian, so he's not trying to like be straightforward or act like he's delivering news. He's always being facetious, sarcastic, comedic, like he's doing bits at all time. But a lot of his bits are very, when I say edgy, I mean using like a black guy as a table, feeding him like bananas. You know what I'm saying? Like after George Floyd, he had like this dude, he had his foot on this guy's neck for a whole episode after the George Floyd thing.
Whoa.
So like he came on our show, and we at this point we have people guess, we ask questions, we talk kind of like what we're doing now, and like he came on, and so my buddy at the time, my co-host then, had been on his show, and so they had like a whatever, just a little bit of a working relationship. And so my question to him is like, what do you say to people like with that your comedy is like racist and blah, 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 or like you're overstepping the line, out of poor taste. And he started to answer the question, like trying to be earnest. And like, I wasn't letting him get out of with just like a PC answer. Dissolved into chaos very soon after this. Like, I'll send you the clip of it. It is very entertaining. Like, the funny thing is, this guy, like, he's one of those guys, like, when Brittany Griner came back from serving time for her little marijuana charge or whatever. Yeah. And so, like, when she came back, he was at the airport, like, trolling her. Like, he's one of those kinds of guys who does these kind of shock value, like, things. And he's like, and the thing is, when he's not being the character, he's not an unlikable guy. He's very respectable, very nice.
Okay, that's fine, but you chose to be that
that's
character.
what I was trying to do. I was trying to hold this guy's feet to the fire of just like
you chose to do that.
He wasn't willing to. He was not willing to like have an honest, like interlocking exchange about it. He would rather have erupted into anger, name calling you, and stormed off. So he didn't actually have to have a conversation about what it was that he does with it.
He was not willing to break the character?
No, he
wasn't willing to admit there was a character.
No. Oh,
Oh,
he's
go ahead.
absolutely. I mean, he would. I don't think he would deny that his show. He's playing a character on his show. But when he came on,
Uh-huh.
On Air Don't Care, he was not playing the character. He was
Oh,
coming on to
okay.
promote his show. And now, of course, he was being extra. But he was like, when I was asking him a question, he was not answering as the host of the show. He was answering as
Oh,
himself. But he wasn't
okay.
willing. Like, because his answer was very well. That's just comedy. I'm like, nah, what you're doing is not like,
No.
because
Right.
I love racist humor. I absolutely love racist humor. But
Right.
but people that do racist humor will tell you that humor is racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're leaning into what it
Right.
is.
Own it.
You try
Own
to
it.
do this and then say you aren't being racist. You're not taking hubris for your content.
I believe
Yeah.
you, because the episode that I watched or I listened to, you were talking about there was a woman that did the hard N, or it was a broke ass whatever, right? I don't want to say it because and you guys were saying, like, I don't think she's racist. I just think that, like, she wants views. And so everyone got pissed, right? You were talking about everyone gets pissed, but you're giving her the fucking platform that she wants, man. Now, and like the Chocolate Daddy, is that his name? Like, he was like,
Alexander K is his comedic stand-up
I feel
name,
so
but
stupid.
he
Chocolate
will
Daddy.
absolutely love that you call him Chocolate Daddy. He will absolutely love that you call him
Is that what he
Chocolate
goes
Daddy.
by? Right? Is
That's
that
his AKA.
Okay.
Also known as.
Because I feel so stupid, like going Chocolate Daddy. Like, I get it, right? So you guys were talking, and he was like, he was like talking about how these black women are getting on fucking Instagram, being like, how dare she, like, they're giving her all this shit, and he's like, you're sitting at your apartment broke. Now she fucking moves into an right. And so I thought, holy fuck, that's right. It's right. It's right. She's not racist. She's just a fucking asshole. She's not thinking about anything other but herself.
We can argue about whether the use of the word is racist, but she didn't use it in a racist context. So,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Everybody just to erupt him, like, I was like, you're giving her like what she wants, like
dollar signs, baby. It's exact, and she got away with it, like, right?
She did.
Like, she
even said it. She's like, you can hate me all you want. I'll be the new. She said, you can hate me all you want. I'll be the new alt-right sweetheart. She like made a tweet saying that. I'm like, I applaud her. I applaud her. Like,
that's what you guys did. You're like,
I ignore stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not kind of cause me or mine a harm, I'm just gonna let you just go. You can go do it. Like, I'd rather you die of obscurity than you get my attention.
Exactly. Because you have to be able to see the difference. You can tell, when someone's hateful, you can tell. Yeah. But you can also tell when there's a little angle to it. And so I was very impressed that it was articulated really well, that I think if someone who was in the middle could go, oh, okay, I understand what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I got what you were saying immediately, but there could be some people out there going, no. But then it was able to be articulated well enough where it's like, oh, yeah, they're right. Yeah, it was really cool, man. So I want you to plug your stuff. It's worth watching. I'm telling you, On Air Don't Care. You got to watch it. Like I said, if I can go back, I forgot what it's called. I'm sorry, I said it earlier, but that episode was great. I watched a couple other ones, but that one stuck out to me.
We have week episodes, but I mean, you could pretty much probably put on anyone. Like, and I highly suggest anyone that's watching this, go like, if you're on YouTube, go to find On Air Don't Care and find where there's two guys on the screen, me and a big black guy, just us two. Okay. Those are the old episodes. Those are the ones that, like, oh my God, like the stuff this man says, just pure comedic gold. Like, go back. I mean, like, and a lot of it is during the Donald Trump like era stuff for many, like Obama years, you know, the Hillary years, and like the opinions we give him. But like, and he was, again, he's been an amplified character who was more like an alt-right, and then here I am, the left, whatever. Like, they're just these clashes, and they're so funny, so funny. Like, he's being offensive on purpose, but it's so good.
Right. It's the same. It's like we said. It's the Howard Stern shit. It's the same. It's just fucking. We're just talking, man. Like, calm down. So go ahead. Please plug everything you need to plug.
Let's see. I mean, On It Don't Care. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify. Now we even drop it on Twitter. What else? You can find. What else do I? I have my own YouTube page. That's itsthebomb.com on YouTube. Like, I do a lot of other content as well. I do parody videos of like House of the Dragon, like Green. Like, I do crazy stuff. So like, I just have a lot of filmmaking equipment, so I put a lot of it to use. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of things, but definitely really just plug On It Don't Care. If you follow that, you can follow just about everything else we do. I'm a DJ in the DFW, so like, that's where you can find me. Hold on one second. Y'all can close out 1 second.
Sure. No problem, baby. That's really cool, man. Seriously, like, I just thought it was funny, man. It was funny. That episode was great. It really was. It really was.
Absolutely.
I laughed. It reminded me of like they're Theo Vaughn, and like, it just reminded me of that. They're just talking, man. It's really cool, man. It really was. I appreciate you coming on. I really do.
I appreciate y'all inviting me on. I've had a good time. It's a good conversation.
Me too.
Yeah, it was a great time, man. We appreciate you coming on, John.
Look forward to seeing some of your stand-up, Jason.
Absolutely. Tallest Man Comedy on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. Bet. When's your next show, or honey? What are you doing?
We record every Wednesday, so we go, like, you can watch the show live on Facebook and on YouTube for certain. So like, that's where our live go to both of those locations when we go live.
Okay. And so, Jason,
and it's practically the same show when I upload to Spotify, but sometimes if there's like a glitch or something, I'll edit like glitches, or I'll I'll play with the volume if it needs cleaning up, whatever. But yeah, it's pretty much the same show. We don't like edit any content out, but like, I'll fix any errors if there's anything like detract from the
on air. Don't care. On air. Don't
on
care.
air. Don't care. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's a great name.
Jay, what day are you performing this week?
I'm going to Daily Press tomorrow. It's just open mic. So, and if you go to Instagram, Tallest Man in Comedy, no spaces, I will post my set, and you can see me there, man.
I'd really like to. We have a lot we could talk about, man. Like,
hey, listen, I really enjoyed talking to you tonight, John. You're a very cool guest, man. And likewise, it's a win in doing it, so nothing needs to come of it for it to be a win. It's already a win in my mind.
Yeah, we're just talking, man.
It's not entirely possible that we won't take On It Don't Care on the road at some shows at some point. So like, if we're ever in y'all's area, because Alexander K, aka Chocolate Daddy, he's a stand-up comedian. He likes to hit the road just to go hit open mics in other cities. Like, that's just something he likes to do. So like, it ain't nothing for us sometimes just to find ourselves in other cities. So like, we'll find ourselves in y'all's area. Like, I would love for y'all to be guests on It Don't Care.
Absolutely.
We'll have him. Yeah, if he wants to reach out to Jay, that's great. Jason's trying to get another club that recently opened in a little town called Northfield to like get some like live comedy in there. You know what I mean? We're always trying to like get that going.
Well, we have to put him in touch, because he's often always trying to like find other places. You know, not even necessarily money. He loves just to get in front of different audiences to just get different crowds. Yeah,
absolutely.
We have another guest coming on this week. His name is Cole C. We met him through the comedy scene, and same with him. I think that's a really like little like dynamic that would be good. But
Jason, are you familiar with Drew Nickens, who's like getting a lot of buzz right now through the Kill Tony circuit?
I know. I've never met him. I'm not familiar.
Oh, he's a guy that's. Are you familiar with Kill Tony? I'm assuming you are. Like,
Kill Tony. I don't know what that
The
is.
stand-up show,
No.
there's like it's a podcast they record down in Austin, but it is like
Okay.
very much like a stand-up game show to where they
Oh,
randomly
okay.
select brand new comics. Like so
Oh.
Tony Hinchcliffe is the host, and then like he
Oh,
would like
I've
on
heard
one
of him.
episode, like
Yeah.
he would have Shane Gillis and Joe Rogan sitting on a panel, and they would just have a brand new comedian who, or just
Yeah.
randomly comedian. He may have 5 years of experience or 5 minutes of experience, but if his
Oh, okay.
name gets selected randomly, he gets to come out and perform, and they will like
Oh,
either say
okay.
you're funny, tell you what you could improve on, and like
Oh,
oftentimes
that's really
somebody's
cool.
on there for 5 minutes and ends up getting to go on the road with Joe Rogan for 3 months because like
Wow.
Oh,
they
okay.
won
Yeah.
they won somebody's heart.
Cool.
It's a very cool podcast. Y'all check it out. And a
Yeah.
buddy of ours
We will.
just won basically on there. He is
That's
already like he's been on Air Don't Care. Like he's a friend of ours. Like he's been a winner on Kill Tony, and it's currently like rising the ranks of stand-ups just from this opportunity.
Yeah, that's
Kill
awesome.
Tony. Yeah.
That's
That's
great.
really
Well,
cool.
oh yeah, thank you for informing us about that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, y'all check it out. It's pretty funny. There's even when
Yeah.
people do, it's like a very much a America's Got Talent or The Voice kind of thing where sometimes
Yeah.
people are really bad, but it's just like sometimes there's people you never heard of and they're hilarious. So it's
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the beauty of like finding new like comedic talent, man.
Yeah.
It really is. It's so good, man. You can kind of shuffle through the ones that aren't that great or whatever, but then you get those ones, they're so good. It's like, holy shit. I mean, it's great. Man, seriously, I'd like to talk to you more. Like, there's so many more things I can get deep with you with. I mean, it's just really cool.
Well, hey, look, y'all, anytime y'all want me back, y'all holler at me. It ain't nothing but a
Yeah.
StreamYard call away. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would love to have you on. I keep in contact with Brenda Rivas. Do you remember her?
yes.
Yeah. I keep in contact with her now, and Zach Ray every once in a while. I probably should
Zach
say-
Ray is a unique soul.
He certainly is, man. I asked him if he's kind of thinking about it, but I get it. But yeah, I would like one day to get like people from our class on.
Oh, I would absolutely. That would be amazing. Like just to because one of the things about me is I have a horrible memory. So just being able to hear other people's experience of the same pointed aspect of my life, hearing someone else's sparks my memory. So I would absolutely love to do that sometime. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of maybe a separate podcast being it's just that class. Like you've seen me put pictures out. I have a love for that class, man. And Yasmin, I don't know if you remember, you know what I'm saying? And there's just something
I lost connect with some people in elementary school, but then saw them later again, in high school and things. Like Yasmin was one of those people. Like I didn't see her in middle school, but when I got to high school, I saw her again and stuff.
I love that. See, man, that's cool. That's the stuff I want to talk about, man, because that's cool. Because we took off after 6th grade. I was gone. So I really think I didn't connect again with these people until Facebook. But I was in my 30s at that time. I'm just saying, yeah, I don't know. I was talking with Brenda. I'm like, we need to do something. Maybe it doesn't need to be a podcast. Maybe we just talk. Maybe just do a reunion. I have a connection with that class, man, and that's the stuff that I think it'd be cool to talk about because we done some weird shit.
That's a fact.
It's fact,
Yeah.
right?
But all right, I got people need me to do some stuff, so I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on.
We appreciate you coming on.
Again, so
no, man,
absolutely love
thank
to
you
do
so much.
this again. So y'all,
Appreciate you.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
And how do I get out of here?
You're good. I will.
I think you hit the red X.